Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or whatever time zone you're watching from. Okay, welcome to another session on Career Starter Series with 5 questions. That is hashtag CSS5, a structured interview where young professionals get to share about their career journey to inspire others. With me today, I have a young man called Timi. I actually connected with Timi on LinkedIn because I was just, as soon as I looked at his profile, I was amazed and I was like, okay, why not? And so I reached out to him and we've had interesting conversations so far. So I asked him, would you like to share your career journey with other young professionals? And of course, he said yes. And we're excited to have you today. Hi, Timi. How you doing?
I think, thanks for the introduction. Very well.
Okay, great. So Timmy is a technical recruiter and we'll be asking him questions, like 1 or 2 questions in that direction. But before we get into that, Timmy, can we meet you?
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Again. So my name is Timi. Basically, currently work in technical recruitment. I have a background in consulting. Started my core HR career in consulting, and I switched to working in fintech. Then I've been in HR tech for a while now, and then taking 1 or 2 certification just to get a little bit serious in the HR space. Nothing serious. Maybe to also try to also make it boost my money profile and all. This is just outside of seriousness. But yeah, basically that's me. Outside of recruitment, I like trainings. I enjoy learning and development a lot, and I also like to speak to young graduates about how they can basically navigate their career from an early stage. Yeah, so that's like a basic introduction of myself.
Wow, nice. Thank you for sharing, Timmy. So to our next question, what got you started in your career? Is it that you're all about the money or you were more for the impact or to add value to organizations? What actually got you started?
I'm going to try not to sound motivational here, so that young guys watching this video will eventually understand. So I think at various stages of your career, you get different motivations, to be sincere. At the beginning of my career, basically, I wanted, career growth, which I still want now. Basically, you want to work in an environment where you are respected. You want to have line managers that understand your perception. You want to add as much value as possible. But for me, HR was first something I think I would enjoy doing because I'm a big fan of leadership. So while in university, I was like, okay, what career can I do that can make me a leadership person? So I wanted to just do leadership. So if there was a role called leadership, you'll find me there. But I could really not find something like that. So I found HR like a pathway to leadership. I was like, okay, let me try this. HR sounds like, it's a people call it a people's role, which I don't think it's not. I think it's not a people's role at all. So I decided to go through that route. Studied HR, and that was like what drove my first interest. Then when I started working, my first work experience in core HR, I was lucky to work in a very good environment. Nice young folks. I enjoyed in HR during that point. I think that was like one of the biggest motivation. I was like, okay, I needed to stick in HR. But I was like, okay, is there money in HR? So that was my second opinion. I was like, okay, should I think of a career switch? Should I do tech? Should I do IT? So I started thinking of various opinions at that, various ideas at that point. So, but later I just took it upon myself to try to strategize. So this is it, to be sincere. So I'm in HR not just for career growth, for the money. I would not stay somewhere where there is no money. Obviously, I want the money. So I think what I tried to do was to look at the various areas of HR and I felt which one would bring in a little bit of money in that sense and all. So yes, now currently I'm in for career growth. I'm also into money. I don't think you should go into a career that you're not interested in money. Don't do
it. Right.
Yeah, so that's like basically one of the motivations I had in terms of my career.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing. And I love the fact that you said that in different phases of your career, you would have different motivation. What got you started might not be what's, the motivation you need to be at where you are currently or probably towards the end. So really, thanks for sharing that. So to our next question, what are the top 3 things that you would say got you started in your career? Like, oh, thank God for this one, this second thing, and this third thing regarding your career path.
Okay, so 3 things that got me started. First, I will say, so I actually started with an interest in accounting. So while I was in university, I took ICANN. I did 80, sorry. So I did ATS1, ATS2, ATS3. So I mean, I would have likely become a chartered accountant, but at a particular stage, I failed one of the exams. So that was a big motivation to go into HR. So failing one of my HR ICANN professional exam was a big motivation to focus on HR. So I mean, I think that was like number one. Secondly, I mean, I had an interest in people. I wanted to be around people. I like encouraging people. So I mean, I felt that would be a motivation. Then I think one of the biggest motivations for me, which I think I keep it dearly to my heart, was my first core work experience. I had one of the best line managers that you could ever think of. I mean, so that was like, I viewed HR from a different perspective. So, I mean, when I'm having conversations with young HR folks these days, and they say some things about HR, I'm like, okay, this is totally not my perception of HR. Reason being because, I mean, I think I had a very different foundation. I mean, I had a line manager that, I mean, I started my career as an intern, but I mean, we worked together for a while, and for one day, she never called me an intern. She always called me colleague. I mean, she always gave me core work to do. She always supported me. So, I mean, so that literally changed my perception of HR. So that was when I knew, okay, like this sounds, yeah, the last one, like, would be me checking out for mentors on LinkedIn. So I literally do not have like an HR mentor. So there's nobody I go to and ask questions except my line manager, my first line manager, who I respect a lot. But I really do not have like an HR mentor. But what I do is I go to check people profiles that work in HR, and I'm like, okay, so this is the person I want to be like in the next 2 years. This is so I basically follow people's footprints based on the work experience they have on LinkedIn.
All right. So our next question, Timi, if there's one thing you wished you learned earlier in your career, what would that be?
So I think for me to be learn all you can learn at the early stage. I mean, so do a lot of private learning. I mean, don't be in a hurry to boast about your work. Make sure I mean, there's the saying that says you need to, I mean, when you're private, when nobody's watching, do the hard work. I mean, so don't be that person that always wants to, I mean, blow your trumpet at the early stage. I mean, it's very good to blow your trumpet, but make sure that when you're alone, when nobody's watching, you actually are good. So there's this current thing about career branding, around branding yourself, saying you're
career
awesome, you're good. Yeah, career visibility and all. I mean, those things are awesome. Trust me, it helps a lot to push your career forward. But before you get to that stage, ensure you actually are good. I mean, do the hard work, do the groundwork. Don't be doing career visibility and in the private when you actually do the work, you're doing nonsense. I mean, be good in know your onions for what it is. So whatever career phase you find yourself in, make sure that you actually understand what you're doing. Then afterwards, I mean, you can show for yourself however you like. And I mean, you can even show for yourself while learning, or make sure that you actually take your learning phase seriously. I think that's one of the most important aspects of personal development in terms of career advancements too. We all need to make sure that we take that phase of learning seriously. So that's one thing I think that I think I would have known. I mean, which I actually did, but I think I would have put in more effort at the early stage of my career, was to actually take my learnings more serious in the private, when nobody's watching, when I'm the only one, when I have to wake up in the midnight to take exams or work or learn a particular skill or work on a tool. So I think that's, for me, that's like one of the most important aspects of what I think I should have known at my early stage.
Wow, thank you for sharing. And I love the fact that you talked about you should be able to, whatever you do, you post about publicly should be exactly who you are in private. You should not say that you're probably an expert in XYZ and then they give you something of a mere beginner, intermediate level, and you're struggling with it.
Sure, exactly.
Sorry?
Yeah, I said exactly.
Yes, and they should give whatever you put yourself out for, be known for it. Okay, so our next question, which has to do with technical recruitment, what would you advise young professional in the software development phase? What should they focus on? Because of course they're the one that would sift through their CVs, and the one that would say, oh, let's hire this person or let's hire that person. So what do you think software developers should focus their attention on? Yeah.
Okay, so this is basically my own perception. I mean, my opinion. So I think software developers need to focus more on and this is outside resume. This is for me based on screening quite a number of software developers over the past few years. They need to actually focus on their soft skills. I mean, so every software developer has a good knowledge of the technical skills. Maybe it's front end, you're good with whatever programming languages you're good. With product designers, you can design or do one design. I mean, you are literally good in whatever you do, but there are certain levels or certain stages you would not get to if you don't have the basic soft skills. I mean soft skills like communication.
Yeah.
I mean, so a lot of technical people need to actually know that. I mean, outside of your core technical skills, I mean, all those things that we put on job descriptions and all, you need to first know how to communicate properly. Secondly, you actually need to know how to be a good team player. I mean, you need to know how to work in a team properly. And you need to also know how to take feedback. And these are 3 areas that I feel that software developers or technical talent need to pay attention to. I mean, outside of the loud technical skills that they have, because I mean, these are things that actually help people move forward in their career. I mean, outside of your technical abilities, what people look out for, hiring managers, I mean, recruiters, I mean, CTOs, because everybody literally can have those technical skills. But the question is, can you actually communicate properly? Are you able to work in a team? Are you the lone ranger that all you want to do is just to solve problems by yourself? Can you communicate properly? Can you write? These are outside of the technical skills that you have. So, I mean, technical talent need to understand the soft skills in terms of what they do. So yeah, that's basically what I think is important.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. And I can affirm to that some developers, all they want to focus on is, let me just write this code, and then that's all, and then when it's time to probably, you've done a fantastic work, right? And it's time for you to show forth your work, and you're struggling with the grammatical structure, the kind of how to compose it and all of that. So I feel like that's a very important aspect that, developers need to focus on: your soft skills, how you communicate, your teamwork, how do you respond when there's a certain issue, conflict resolution. Conflict resolution doesn't have to be something huge or massive, right? It could also be as well when you're working within your teams. Thank you for that, Timi. So if there's one word you'd like to share with your professionals out there, what would that be?
Yeah, I'll still come back again to what I said before. At the early stage of your career, take learning seriously. I mean, I know I've mentioned taking money seriously. Like it gets to a particular stage in your career where you need to be after money and career development. But at the early phase of your career, put in the work.
Yeah.
Don't do comparison. I think that's one word I would actually put out to folks. Don't compare yourself with anyone. What you should actually be doing is learning from people. No matter how the person is, maybe the person is younger than you, older, no matter the stage, once the person is doing well in their career, look at them and learn all you can learn from them. But the point where you start to compare, you start to think, oh, my guys with 6 months experience are earning $1,000 or any $1 million. I have 2 years. Don't do that. Put in the work. You surely will get to that point where you would actually get the money. But the question is, do you actually have those skills and those values to be able to bring in such experience or such funds in terms of salary and all? So, at the early stage of your career, don't compare. Put in the work, put in as much work as you can as possible, and take your learning serious. You need to take certifications, you need to work over time. I mean, I know we all say we work 9 to 5, but at the early stage of your career, you might need to work extended hours. And those extended hours might be for your own personal learnings. I mean, I'm never the fact of not paying interns, for example, or not paying young folks. But I mean, if you have to get experience without pay, I mean, get it. Don't be so proud not to put in the work at the early stage. As far as you're learning, and you know that after you learn, the next few months would be a good career progression for you. I mean, do it. But I mean, don't be proud at the early stage of your career. Take all your learning seriously. I mean, and have people that you can actually look up to ask questions, and don't compare yourself with anybody.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for that, Milane. I also could remember when I started out in my career. I'll do my normal 9 to 5 job, and then I'll still have to wait back in the office. Of course, because there's free internet, so I'd love to stay back at the office and then still look through what are the other areas that I need to focus on. Sometimes I can stay back 2-3 hours. My colleagues will be like, okay, I'm not going home. I'm like, no, not yet. I kept in the work, and a few months down the line, if there's anything wrong on the application, I'm like, oh, I think you should ask Funke because Funke is knowledgeable in that area. I didn't just abracadabra, just got there. I paid my dues, by staying back to learn. And I can tell you for free that it has actually paid off for me as a person. And also I was able to add, of course, value to my organization. So thank you for sharing that, Timilane. So to our last question, right, before we let you go, if someone is looking to switch into technical recruitment, what would you advise the person? What steps would you advise the person to take? Must I be someone who is in the tech space to be able to switch successfully to be a tech recruiter? Or if yes, what level of expertise in the tech space do I need to know or to be aware of?
Okay, so for me, it's more first, outside of the technical recruitment, I think you need to be a good HR professional. So example, you must understand employee experience. You must understand how to communicate with candidates. You must understand recruitment marketing. So these are some basic skills that you actually need to be good in. Then also you must now be interested in tech in the sense that you must be willing to understand the theoretical aspect of what software developers and those guys working in the tech space do, which means that you must be able to read. I mean, so like I said, what I typically do in terms of tech recruitment is I might not be able to code. I mean, I feel maybe if you give me a laptop and I might try some magic, but on a more serious note, I obviously cannot code, but I basically understand most of the programming language that they use. That's only how I'm able to screen their resumes. I mean, and I could look at their GitHub profiles and understand one or two things. So you need to read a lot, watch YouTube videos, and you need to also align yourself closely with those tech guys, the hiring managers, the head of technologies, the senior guys. I mean, work closely with them, ask them questions. I mean, when there's when there's a job description that says they need somebody with this framework, somebody that uses JavaScript, TypeScript, that uses React, that uses React Native, I mean, you need to ask questions. So what does this thing do? Is this for mobile? Is this for Android? Is this for web? Is this for blockchain? Why did these guys use Solidity? Is this for Web3? I mean, you need to be able to ask serious questions. And these are ways that you only get better in terms of technical recruitment. I mean, I feel anybody in HR can switch, but you actually need to be grounded because I mean, going through interview phase for technical recruitment means that you must actually have a good basic understanding of the technicality involved. I mean, I don't expect you to know how to code, but I expect you to understand the basic technicalities in engineering, which I mean, outside of engineering, it also works in terms of product management, product designers, quality engineers, and other guys in the tech space. Yeah, so basically just do your groundwork.
Okay, so that looks like lots of assignment for people that will need to switch. Okay, thank you so much for honoring our invite, Milane, and I hope there will be more partnership regarding careers for young professionals. Thank you and have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye.